last our video. Now we resume our next video in the finite element method, which is based on the engineering application. And last time we have discussed what is FEA, its types, where is the application, then common FEA application, then what is FEA discretization model, then what is one dimensional, two dimensional and three dimensional element, and what will be the feature of FEA, then object resolution, what is node and element in the finite element method, then advantages, then principle of FEA and shape function. Now today we will start from degree of freedom in finite element analysis. So as we know that degree of freedom is identified by the main nature of the some few points. In the FEA, again a two-dimensional case with a single field variable, that is phi, x and y. The triangular element describes is said to have 3 degrees of freedom, as 3 nodal value of the field variable are required to describe the field variable everywhere in the element in the scalar quantity. Now we can say that phi of xy is equal to shape function xy, then in the n2 x and y, again at node 3 x and y. In general, the number of degree of freedom associated with a finite element is equal to the product of the element of nodes and the number of value of the field variable as possibility its derivatives that must be computed at each node. So this is the general degree of freedom in 3 nodes point, which we have seen by the some arithmetic equation phi of x and y. Now what is general procedure for finite element analysis? There are the basic 3 steps. One is the pre-processing phase, solution phase and post-processing phase. So suppose in general process we can see that the input, process and output. So in the pre-processing stage, so first of all the basic step is define the geometric domain of the problem, then define the element to be used in the object or in the element or in the material. Next, define the material properties of the element, which are the basic parameters which required at the time of FEA problem. Define the geometric properties of the elements like length, area and likewise. Then define the geometric properties of element that we have discussed. Then define the element connectivities like mesh the model, which is the pure bonding element. Then define the physical constraint or boundary conditions or loading in FEA. Then solutions are the problems in finite element analysis. So compute the unknown values of the primary field variable. We know that which are the unknown, which is the displacement required, then stress required, strain required, then temperature, which are the basic primary fields variable which we calculated in the common problems. Computed values are then to be used by back substitution to compute additional and derived variables such as reaction forces, element stress and heat flow. These are the basic solution steps. Then post processing stage, which is the in general we can say the result and discussion stage. So post-processor software contains sophisticated routines used for sorting, printing and plotting selected results from the finite element solution. So these are the basic steps which are required in the common general FEA procedure or to calculate any kind of example. Next we will discuss stiffness matrix, which we have studied in 11th 12th science mathematics, which are the basic or you also studied in some first or second year MOS and engineering mathematics subject. So stiffness matrix, the primary characteristics of the finite element are embodied in the element stiffness matrix. For a structural finite element, the stiffness matrix contains the geometric and material behavior information and indicates the resistance of the element to deformation when subject to loading. Such deformation may include axial bending, shear and torsional effect. For finite element used in non-structural analysis such as fluid flow and heat transfer, the term stiffness matrix is also used in the sense the metric representation the resistance of the element to change when subject to external influence. So next, linear spring as a finite element. So if we know that each element consists of a two or more than two node, on based on which the actual system is divided into small number of element and small number of nodes, so that we can get the accurate results in the any kind of problem. So linear spring, a linear elastic spring is a mechanical device capable of supporting axial loading only, and the elongation of contraction of the spring is directly proportional to the applied axial load. The constant of proportionality between deformation and load is referred to as the spring constant. The spring rate or the spring stiffness K has units of force per unit length. As an elastic spring support axial loading only, we select an element coordinate system, and as we know, as a local coordinate system, as an x axis oriented along the length of the spring as shown in we can see that. So graph A and B represent F1 and F2 as a force coordinate, then 1 and 2 are the basic node, then K means stiffness, U1 and U2 are linear displacement vector. So in the figure B, we plot the deflection versus force graph, and deflection is in the linear displacement, and we can substitute from U2 to U1, right? So these are the assuming and basic equation. Suppose the deformation of needs in a spring, so U2 minus U1, then if we multiplied with the axial force in the spring is K, so force will be the stiffness into deflection K U2 minus U1, and from basic our parametric and basic equation we can summarize all the topic, all the points, and we prepared one express one matrix like K bracket minus K K, and in the another matrix coordinate U1 and U2 and F1 and F2. And if we know that, and we also know that the KQ is equal to F or K into U, linear displacement, is equal to F. So stiffness matrix for one element spring is calculated by the basic equation K is equal to, in the bracket, K minus K in the 2 by 2 matrix, right? So it is defined as the element stiffness matrix in the element coordinate system or local system, and the U is column matrix vector and nodal displacement, and F is the column matrix of the elemental nodal force. So here in next slide we can see that the force is the main primary member, so F1 and F2 is equal to K into U1 U2. So K suffix E means K for element, K minus K minus K into K. So here it is not mandatory to maintain a 2 by 2 or 3 by 3 matrix. It may be a 2 by 3 or 3 by 2 matrix calculation. So the equation shown in the element stiffness matrix for the linear spring element is 2 by 2 matrix. This correspondent to the fact that the element exhibits of 2 nodal displacement or degree of freedom, and the 2 displacement are not independent, that is the body is continuous or elastic. Furthermore, the matrix is symmetric, and this is a consequences of the symmetry of the forces equal and opposite to ensure equilibrium. So also the matrix is singular and therefore is not inevitable. That is because the problem is defined is incomplete and does not have any does not have a solution, that a boundary condition are required. So in the next slide, system of 2 spring which is connected by 2 element, and so here you can see that the force F1, F2 and F3 are represented in the free body diagram. Then U1, U2 and U3 are represented at a linear displacement. These are the external force acting on the node number 2 and 3, between 2 and 3. So if we separatize the every element and prepare one elements connectivity table from 1 and 2, it consists 2 node 1 and 2, and U1 and U2 are required in for first element diagram in a small a diagram. In the small b diagram consists of 2 forces F2 and F3, and node number 2 and 3 also represented the element number 2, and the spring stiffness is K2. Then the U1 and U2 are the again linear displacement, and again node number 3. So here with the next equation we can prepare one element connectivity table from the element connectivity table. So here there are the 3 nodes, and again it simply we can say that if the if the 3 number of nodes, and we can prepare a 3 by 3 matrix in general terms, right? So we prepare one element connectivity table, therefore K1 and K2, and assemblage of the all element connectivity table in one global element stiffness matrix, right? So to begin assembling the equilibrium equation describing the behavior of the system of the 2 spring and the displacement compatibility conditions which are related to the displacement to system displacement are shown below. So there are the 2 topics. Again, the assemblage of the algebraic equation and summarize all the values in 3 matrix. It means stiffness, then displacement and force coordinate. So here we can summarize in the 3 by 3 matrix. Suppose summarizing member by member or element by element, it's K minus K1 0 minus K1 K1 plus K2 and minus K2. So you don't need to panic or bother why you are summering the algebraic equation as a plus and minus sign are indicate, why are the indicates in plus or minus sign. You don't bother. So next, minus k2, then 0, minus k2 and k3, which are the 3 by 3 matrix. It means the element consists of 3 nodes, or we can simply see prepare if the element have a 3 node, then we can prepare a 3 by 3 matrix in simple terms. So next, u1, u2 and u3, and again the summation of forces, then f2 1 and f2 2. So in the general term, so we refer the free body diagram on the next. So final form of the element global summarized or global stiffness matrix k11 k minus k1 0 minus k1 k1 plus k2 minus k2 and 0 minus k2 and k2 and u1 u2 and u3 and f1 f2 f3. These are the final form of the equation, and where the stiffness matrix K is also represented as the 3 by 3 matrix. So we have to remember some symmetric, singular and some element stiffness matrix points keep in mind. So symmetric is the case with the all linear system referred to as a orthogonal coordinate system, and singular is since no constraints are applied to prevent rigid body motion of the system. The system matrix is by a simply superposition of the individual element stiffness matrix with proper assignment of element nodal displacement and associated stiffness coefficient to system nodal displacement. So here in the FEA for final multiply or elements is force F is equal to K into Q or K into U as a linear displacement vector. So F means loads, then K means the geometrical or geometry material properties of the element, then is this to be determined as a displacement. This can be a mathematically using by metric inversion of the method, or here the inversion is U is equal to K raised to minus 1 and F. So and the second nodal quantity, you can see that the strain is displacement by or change in length upon the original length. You can see there is a strain. Then stress is directly proportional to strain as per the Hooke's law. So modulus of elasticity on the strain is equal to stress. Then factor of safety calculated by the stress at any node of the point divided by actual length. So here we have taken one example with the boundary conditions equation, and consider the two-dimensional element system as load. So first of all, you have to keep in mind as the basic 7 steps which are required or to calculate any kind of example in the bound or in the finite element analysis solution. That is, some students are thinking the FE chapter is a big panic and very difficult to solve, but this is not necessary, or some points to keep in mind while calculating example. So consider the two-dimensional elements system is described before, where node 1 is attached to the fixed support, yielding the displacement constraints as u1 is equals to 0 and k1 is again 50 pound per inch and k2 is equal to 75 pounds per inch, and these are the basic element stiffness matrix are given directly value. So k1 and k2 value given, then f2 and f3 the loads are already given in 75 pounds. For this condition, determine the nodal displacement of u1 and u2. So here you already separatize all the elements with the node, that is a, b and a, b, e. So element 1 is consist of 1 and 2 and linear displacement u1 and u2, and element B or element number 2 as shown in figure is consist of two forces, that F2 and F3, and the element number 2 as the linear displacement u1 and u2. Substituting all this specified value in the equation, so as per our approach, so here the mainly three kind of approach are available for solving this problem. So first one is the penalty approach, then elimination approach and thermal approach, and we calculate some values and final the equations 50 minus 50 and 0, which are the summation or overall stiffness metric equation shown in the figure. Then 50 minus 50 0, minus 50 125 and minus 75, 0 minus 75 and 75, and due to boundary conditions that u1 is 0 because it will be the fixed boundary condition, and u2 and u3 and f1 is unknown parameter, and f2 and f3 already given. So next, because of the constraint of 0 displacement at node 1, nodal forces f1 becomes an unknown reactions forces. Formally the first algebraic equation represented in the matrix equation becomes, and reaction forces are the minus 15 to its interlinear displacement at node number 2 and is equals to f1, and this is known as the constraint equation, and it represents the equilibrium condition of a node at which the displacement is constrained. The second and third equation becomes, so you can separatize the two element 125 minus 75 what is the stiffness matrix, and u2 and u3 and 75, which can be solved to obtain u2 is equal to 3 inch and u3 is equal to 4 inch. It is the linear displacement. Note that the matrix equation governing the unknown displacement are obtained by simply striking out the first row and column as a 3 by 3 matrix system. Since the constraint displacement is 0, homogeneous are the functions. If the displacement boundary condition is not equal to 0, then this is not a possible to matrix need to be manipulated differently or partitioning members. Then truss elements are also basic FEA members or FEA element FEA problems. These are the spring, truss, then beam, which are the FEA problem. The spring element is also often used to represent the elastic nature of the support for more complicated system. A more generally applicable yet similar element is the elastic bar subjected to axial force only. This element, which we simply call a bar or truss element, is simply particularly useful in the analysis of the 2 and 3 dimensional frame of the truss structure. Formulation of the finite element characterized of an element bar element is based on the following assumption. So these are the basic four assumptions to keep in mind while the calculating the examples. Suppose the bar is geometrically straight, the material obeys as per the Hooke's law, and the force are applied only at the end of the bar. And the fourth one is the bar is supported axial load only, that is bending, torsion, shear are not transmitted to the element by the nature of its connection to the elements, right? So the truss element matrix, it means the deflection is as we studied in the most subject mechanics of solid, then deflection is equal to PL over A as per our basic equation. So stiffness is equal to P by deflections or A over L. Then therefore this stiffness metric for one element is K is equal to A over L per bracket into term of 1 minus 1 minus 1 into 1, as we have studied in most subject. So A over L as per the equilibrium equation in matrix form. So 1 minus 1 minus 1 to 1 u1 u2 at the linear displacement f1 f2 are the forces are the element. So truss element in a bending function, an elastic bar of the length L to which the affects an unaxial coordinate system X with its origin arbitrary place at the left end, and this is the element coordinate system or reference frame denoting axial displacement at any position along the length of the bar as u suffix x. So we define the two nodes 1 and 2 at each of the end of the shown and introduce the nodal displacement u1 is equal to u x0 and u2 as x is equal to L, or we can say at the final point. So here by using the shape function we can calculate as the shape function n1 and n2. These are the two nodes and n1 and n2 are represented over here. So thus we have the continuous field variable of our x coordinate linear function, which is to be expressed approximately in terms of the two nodal variables as u1 and u2. And to accomplish this discretization, we assume the existence of interpolation shape function as n1 and n2 as are the basic functions of or as per the equation ux n1 x or n1 u1 plus n2 u2. So from the continuous with the equation. So to determine the interpolation function, we require the boundary values as linear displacement or u1 as x is equal to 0 as starting point and linear displacement x is equal to where as the ending point. So n1 is 0 and n2 is 0 as a nodal coordinate or condition system. So if we calculate with substituting 0 in equation, so we can get the shape function as 1, and as n2 is substituting 0 is equal to 0, and another condition, if we substitute the n1 is equal to L, it means it will become 0, and n2 substitute with L is equal to 1. So by achieving or applying this two boundary condition equation in the n1 and n2 two shape function equation, so as we have two conditions that must be satisfied by the each at two one-dimensional function, the simplest form of the interpolation function are polynomial forms, right? So n1 x and n2 x is equal to a0 plus a1x and b0 plus b1x. So here you can see that the truss element bending function as u1 and u2 as the linear displacement, and the by substituting into condition or applying to condition as n1 x in x is equal to 0 and L, or n2 x is equal to L into 0. So the total interpolation function and the final equation of blending function, it means the combination of the two conditions, right? So for the linear displacement or by using shape function equation, so u1 x is equal to 1 minus x divided by L into u1 plus x by L into u2, and in the matrix form we can see that, or substituting this equation into or establish this equation into matrix form. So ux is equal to n1x plus n2x and u1 u2, and simply we show this equation as a two constant n and u, which are this is the displacement field in terms of nodal variables, right? So we will discuss truss element example and its function and the basic parameter which are calculating a truss element comparison with the deflection in our next video lecture series. So thank you so much for hearing my speech. Okay, thank you.